Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm doing now is I'm just making a few notes. So just give me a moment. I'm just writing down some last minute notes. Yes, I am. Okay, we're going to talk about Mr. Obama today. He had a very unfortunate accident, and I have it in the notes. And Mr. Obama right now, he's recuperating from a bicycle accident, and it's very unfortunate what happened to Mr. Obama, but it did happen, and I would be the last person to make fun of Mr. Obama having an accident. I had the hat on backwards. I can't scam anybody unless they could see the fedora, because the fedora is the new word. The fedora is the new word that associates itself with running a legitimate scam on YouTube. And Lord knows, I have more scams than I could possibly write down in a day. I got scams coming up that you wouldn't believe. We have, right now, we're running about 15 or 20 different proper scams. I got scams going from every direction. And I have people sending me notes on future scams that can be scammed on different peoples on the internet. I mean, remember what W.C. Fields said, there's a sucker born every minute. He wasn't kidding. I got people paying me, literally paying me to abuse them on YouTube. And I run that as a legitimate scam for $1 a minute. I will abuse you in a live stream. And I have people sending me money. Then I have that guy, John Escape. Man, that guy is gullible. About a year ago, he said to me, do I need anything? And I said, nah. So I put him on the hook, like a worm on the hook. I put him on the hook. And he asked me again, do I need anything? He'll send it in a ballot buying box. And I said, nah, I don't need anything. But now he really wants to send me stuff. He says, Mike, make me a list. Make me a list of stuff that you could use. And I said, well, okay, here you go. And I made a list that's going to cost him about $3,000 or $4,000 to put everything on the list in ballot buying boxes. I mean, like W.C. Fields said, there's a sucker born every minute. So right now, my notes, it's almost 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock. I had to start my show a little bit early because I think the reason that my show has been kept crashing is because of the amount of people on the internet. More specifically, the women and the men, well, on dating sites. There's a fantastic amount of people, especially girls and men, that are trying to communicate with one another at these hours. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the girls are waking up, and at 10 o'clock at night in America and in some of the other countries, the men are on the dating sites. I really do believe that, because if you go to a dating site, you'll see that the most amount of women that you're ever going to see that are on the site at the time are right around 10 o'clock in the morning talking to the men in foreign countries. Talk about scams. Now, there's some scams going on there. So we might even do a little segment of this show about scams. But now that I have a few people watching, let's get into what I'm going to discuss today. One of the things I'm going to discuss today is the surgical masks that they require people to use in the Philippines and in the world, and how I said right from the beginning that these masks were not as beneficial as they said they would be. Now, there's the one reason that I said they weren't as beneficial is because I've used a mask for many different operations. Erica Rain, Thank you very much. Welcome to the machine. Yeah, baby. We have the dancer. I missed your show, your last night goodbye show. I've used dating sites long ago. I don't use dating sites anymore. To answer your question, Eric Orain, I've never found. Well, I found one woman in 7 years that I was on dating sites before I moved to the Philippines, and up until the time I met Daisy May. Daisy was the first woman I ever communicated with on a dating site that didn't lie, and she didn't exaggerate, and she didn't try to pretend she was someone that she was not. So I estimate from my emails that I have saved from Filipina Cupid and all the different dating sites that I tried, I estimate I spoke with approximately 3,000 women for sometimes as brief as 1 minute or one conversation, and I only met one woman that was honest, and that was Daisy May. And we have, talking about dating, we have the hustler himself, Big E in Cebu, who actually runs a channel on YouTube and has an endless supply of female friends and male friends, both from YouTube and from his, he explained it from his payroll. So he has several, Big E has 1,400 people working underneath his guise as the runner or the controller of Asia, not the Philippines and not China. Big E doesn't run China or South Korea or Japan. Big E, he's in charge of everything in Asia, and because of that, some of the programs that I'm going to be putting into the computer are computer programs that will allow me to apply for a job working for Big E. And one of the things that I'm familiar with, because I'm an A&P jet mechanic, are computational fluid dynamics programs. And I understand fluid dynamics, which basically, in the simplest terms, fluid dynamics and electric resistance, amperage, and voltage are basically the same formula, E equals I over R. So if you double, just in simplest terms, if you have a wire that's 1 inch in diameter and you want to run electric through it, you might be able to run, let's say, 400,000 volts and 400,000 amps through the wire, okay? However, if you double the size of that, you will increase it exponentially to in multiples of amount of electric. Now, if you have a 1-inch water pipe that's running certain amount of 100,000 gallons per hour through it, and you double the size of the pipe, you might go up to 400,000 gallons an hour. So the formula for fluid dynamics and electrical amperage and voltage are the same. So it's the same exact formula. There's no difference. So one of the programs I'm going to put into the computer that I'm in the process of getting the computer through 3 different parties, myself being one, the party in the city of Tagbilaran being 2, which he's having complications ordering this computer. I offered to go in and give them the 50% deposit and or my bank card for that much money from my Philippines bank card, and they will not take my deposit because the computer is located in Manila, and there's no shipping between Manila and Tagbilaran, or Cebu, which would eventually bring it over to Tagbilaran. So I'm still having complications, but I located a computer that will fit these programs into it, because it requires a lot of dynamics of the computer. I'm gonna be applying for a job under Big E's guise as the corporate executive for Asia. When I say Asia, Big E is in charge of all of Asia. Any country that's considered part of Asia is underneath basically there's about 1,500 employees that have subdivisions working under them that Big E controls. So if I get these programs, and because of my A&P mechanics licenses, I should be able to apply. If I can pass the tests for the programs themselves, I should be able to apply for a job with Big E in Cebu. Then I would be one of his employees, and I could enhance his ability to earn money in Asia. So one of the programs that I want to get for the computer is computational fluid dynamics. Basically, it's about resistance and how certain chemical processes build up scaling on the walls of tanks and pipes. And then the computational fluid dynamics programs allows you to figure out different pressures to compensate for the buildup on the pipes and inside the tanks. So it basically if you have a clean stainless steel pipe, you have no resistance theoretically, except the pipe wall or the tank surface area. But once you start to have chemical buildups inside the pipes, then you have different fluid dynamics. So that's one program. Another program is Aspen HYSYS and Aspen Plus, and that's a marketing process and a tool for the design of pipes and or tank systems so that they would be most efficient. And the third program I'm going to run that I'm having put into the computer is called a ChemStation ChemCAD. Now, to simplify it, crude oil coming from the ground is a product in and of itself, crude oil. But if you break it down into the basic components of crude oil, right now, a distillation, well, basically, when you see what is called an oil refinery, that's basically a distillation process. And it distills or cracks, C-R-A-C-K-S, it cracks the crude oil. At this point, the last time I read about it, there were 493 different chemical compositions that you can get out of crude oil. Not just gasoline, which everybody's familiar with, but different grades of diesel fuel, different grades of diesel oil, and of course jet fuel, which is one of the finer grades of diesel that you can get. And then there's a whole bunch of other 493 total. So the ChemStation ChemCAD program will give me a basic ability to define how to crack the chemicals down, but not just the chemicals. There's also the slag that's inside the pipes and the tanks, and we want to know what kind of resistance they put in the system, but we also want to know how to break those chemicals down by adding solutions or electric to the pipe system to knock the slag off the pipes. So with those three programs, if I get a general understanding of those three programs, I can apply for a job with Big E in Cebu, and then not only can I earn money like that, but then I could be an expert in another field or two or three more fields on top of the expert fields that I already am in charge of or at the top of, which is, of course, all my different licenses for the different things that I actually possess. So we have those three programs that I want to get into the computer, and I have those already set to the side. Aside from the voice analysis that's going to be I have a voice analysis program that also I'm going to try to get a commercial grade voice analysis program so that if I get a random video that I'm not real sure who it is in the video. I can do what is called a voice comparison with, well, it's basically sine waves and or like a sonogram. So it will give you, it will tell you if this voice lines up with this voice. Naturally, if it's a very common voice, then you'll be able to determine without any kind of equipment. But I think that voice analysis program, if I can buy a commercial grade voice analysis program, the ones like the FBI uses and the ones that the Interpol would use if they were trying to decipher who was on a telephone conversation. So the voice analysis program is going to be something that I'm interested in getting if I can get a commercial grade that would be acceptable for the project that I want to put it to use on. And of course, the computer program is also going to have cartographic mapping and or the ability to map different areas of the flat Earth, and it will have basically, if there's a mountain, it will show you that it's a mountain range and the elevation that eventually I will use for flying, and which is going to be something I'm going to need another license soon when I buy the Signet 3 ultralight with the pontoons on it, because in the Philippines, any licensing that you have or have had in the past, because they expire, any licensing to fly any kind of experimental aircraft or single-engine aircraft expires. You have to go back to school for about 20-plus hours, just over 20-plus hours, in order to qualify to fly in the Philippines. And there's a specific reason that the licensing in America is different than the licensing in the Philippines. And basically, it's because the high altitude towers that hold electrical lines and or 5G network systems that allow you to operate your cell phones, these towers are not marked the same way they are in America. In America, they have GPS coordinates to all of these towers. In the Philippines, there's no such thing, or there wasn't the last time I looked. What happens is when you run into a tower and you don't know where it is, you just run into the tower. That could be problematic if you're flying a plane or a helicopter when you run into the tower, because that will mean that that's your last flight, because that's just not a good thing to do. Running into the towers at night is not a good thing. So the lack of GPS coordinates where the towers are. So the electronics in America will tell you you're coming up on a tower, but there's no such thing in the Philippines. So you have to have these different types of maps, aerial maps, cartographic mapping, things of that nature, to know where the height of it is and where you are in relationship to sea level, and whether or not you're going to hit not just the tower, but the wires. See, in America, the wires are all at certain elevations, and they don't have anything like that in the Philippines. It's the same thing with marine navigation. People ask me, can you have a sailboat in the Philippines? Well, sure, you can sail a sailboat from America or Europe to the Philippines, but I'm going to tell you something. You people need to listen and don't ask me questions about this, okay? This is a fact. The shallow water navigation charts in the Philippines are garbage. They're just garbage. You will see a shallow water navigation chart that shows you 12 feet of draft or 12 feet depth, 4 meters, okay? And then you will think that you can run a sailboat over that reef or in that area. You'll think that you're okay because it'll show you a sandy bottom and it'll show you 4 meters of water. But don't take my word for it. You just bring your sailboat to the Philippines and you start navigating over these so-called 12-foot depth of water. And when you run into a coral head that's only 4 feet from the surface or at the surface level, and when you run into that coral head, you'll realize that the chart that you're looking at and your GPS coordinate that you're looking at doesn't show you that coral head, at which point they don't have anything called CITO in the Philippines. So I wouldn't even know how to tell you to get your sailboat off the rock unless you carry airbags and scuba equipment for 4 or 5 people. And then making matters worse, if you have a real vessel, like 120, 130-foot vessel that I see out in the ocean off Alona Beach all the time, you think those people are going to come close to the shore? No. To go reef diving? No, they're not. They're going to come up to where the deep water ends, and they're going to anchor in 100 feet of water, and then they're going to take a boat, a workboat or a skiff to the reef. Don't think that because it says there's 12 feet of water on the reef at MLW, mean low water, don't think there's 12 feet of water there. Don't think that you can go over the reef and come into where it gets deep again and anchor in a shallow, pool. Don't think that. Don't do that. Don't believe it. Don't even believe the charts that you have moving in and out of a marina, except like Tony's Marina in Cebu. There's a canal that brings you in and out of that marina where the port of Cebu is, and there's a chart that'll bring you in and out of the port of Tagbilaran. But the rest of those charts that say that this water is 16 feet mean low water, don't believe it. Don't believe it, and don't go on the premise that you're going to be able to bring in a boat with two meters of draft and you're going to be able to navigate around in the channels. Well, you're going to need a spare set of props. You're going to need the tools to change your props. You're going to need a lot of stuff and a lot of money once you realize that those navigational charts are basically garbage. So one of the things that I want to talk about also today is... First, I got to get, I'm looking up here, Hoodwinked by an Angel. Here we go, right here. Okay, so I'm looking up here. I got to refresh this page.
Secrets of the dollar bill.
Secrets of the dollar bill, baby. I hear people making fun of my dollar bill videos. I got to laugh. Unaccomplished people that have never created or discovered anything in their life, unaccomplished people, make fun of my dollar bill videos, but no one has ever taken the $10,000 Fazio challenge to prove that what I say is on the dollar bill is there. So I'm opening up my page now. I'm going to be able to read the comments. And then the first thing I want to discuss with you is Timothy Starr. Now, Timothy Starr has a troll thumbnail. There's no doubt that Timothy Starr has a troll thumbnail. However, Timothy Starr donated $10 to Stupid Chat yesterday. So we have to give Timothy Starr a big shout out to Timothy Starr, because right as I was giving Timothy Starr the shout out, I lost the live stream. So let's Timothy Starr, Timothy Starr, Timothy Starr, Timothy Starr, Timothy Starr, Timothy Starr, and thank you, Timothy Starr. Salamat. So I didn't forget about you. What I did have is major problems yesterday, and I think I'm pretty sure that the reason I had those problems, or have been having those problems, is just the time that I've been going on the computer. So we have Sab, who's a great dad. Oh my God, we have people on the chat that I didn't see because I was too busy talking about navigational charts and things like that. So, oh my God, Warren H is here. Big shout out to Warren H. And I want to talk. All up in your geek is here. Roberto Dunn, the man with the truthful videos on YouTube. You know, Roberto, I was thinking about your video yesterday that you put out, and I was thinking that what you put in the video, the concept, the conceptualization of the all-round overview of the video that you posted yesterday, it took me about, well, it took me 30 seconds to figure out everything that you had in the video when I first saw the video appear on YouTube. Now, it's not rocket science, it's basic law in the Philippines. So, and everywhere else in the world. But I have to congratulate All Up in Your Geek for putting out a fantastic video about truth, justice, and the American way, and how in Roberto's video, leading a witness. That's not allowed in a court of law. And Roberto put up a perfect video depicting why it's not only is it not allowed, but then he also gave you an example of what leading the witness is. And if that's not a classic case of leading the witness, well, then there is no such thing. So Roberto, the Brown American expat, All Up in Your Geek show, is in fact he understands things from a legal perspective, because that's his forte. He actually does legal things. So he put up a video yesterday. I suggest you go to his channel and watch that video, because that's an important video for you to watch. So that video was sent to me by at least 2 different people via Messenger in Facebook. Then it was sent to me on an old video that I had as a note to go to Roberto's new show. Didn't say what the video was. Then I got it in. I am subscribed to Roberto All American Expat's channel, and I did get a notice. So I did watch the video. I did enjoy the video. I did see the truth in your video. So the name, I think he posted here. Yeah, he does. I object, Your Honor. He's leading the witness. So that's the name of the video I would suggest you go watch, from All Up in Your Geek show. All Up in Your Geek, G-E-E-K, Geek show. I object, Your Honor, exclamation point. He's leading the witness. Okay, so witnesses, plural. So 2 thumbs up for Roberto, All American, All in Your Geek show, a true American hero in the YouTube community. Thank you for stopping by. And Warren H. says hello to the chat room. And I got to tell you some things about Warren H. I've been trying to get in touch with him. I have a special program. I want to do a special show regarding Warren H. But I need his permission before I will go in that direction. And I've been sending messages to Warren, and apparently he's having trouble with his Skype, which I explained to Warren this morning. Maybe you could use the Skype on your phone. But I want to go off in a direction to discuss some things about Warren H., but I won't do so without his permission. So let me go through the comments just a little bit, and then Erica Ring says she never used. Well, that's because everybody goes to your channel and wants to meet you through your channel where you do the dancing and the singing. I mean, why would you need a dating site? Most women don't. And there is a free dating site I belong to. I haven't gotten a message there in a few weeks. What you'll notice on a dating site, to digress back into the dating site, is a woman will have a picture, a freaking picture, a picture of her face, and say, get to know me better. I don't bite. I mean, how many of these worthless profiles can you go through? So the profile that I had up on the dating site is very simple. It starts off with, if you don't have a profile, I will not respond to your request to say hello. I will not respond to your profile or your request for a conversation. Number 3, is I have the ability to call Globe cell phones anywhere in the Philippines. If you don't send me your Globe cell number, I will not respond to your request. Because first of all, it's a free dating site, and you can only send a message to a very small percentage of those people. But if they read your profile and see that you want a Globe number from them, they can send you, the women can send you a note, and then you can respond. But so it's like, it's a list of stuff, my prerequisites before I would even talk to a woman. And these women, they don't read the profile that I have. If you don't, here's how clear it is. If you don't swim, I don't want to meet you. If you're not a good swimmer, I don't want to meet you. I'm not interested in meeting a woman that can't swim. If you don't send me a Globe cell number, I'm certainly not going to pay money to join a dating site so that I can ask you for your Globe cell number. If you're too backwards or ignorant to read my profile, if you're interested in a man, or I look at their profiles and their profile says hi, H-I, or nothing, or no comment, that's their profile. Instead of telling people what they like on a dating site, instead of saying, my name is Erica Rain. I like to sing and dance, and I have a YouTube channel. And in addition to that, I live on a specific island. I have a job, or I don't have a job. I'm able to move because I don't have a job. Now, in my profile, I put down, if you have a job and you're unable to move to Bohol, then I am not interested in any conversation with you at all. That I also have prerequisites when it comes to children. I put specific things that I would accept and would not accept when it comes to children. My profile is crystal clear. I want a single woman that's able to move to Bohol with a college education. And send me your Globe telephone number. It's not complicated. It's listed. First priority. If you can't swim, do not reply to my request for a Globe cell number. And there's probably about 7 different things, prerequisites, that I'm interested in meeting a woman. Any of those 7 prerequisites that don't meet up to what my criteria would be to date a woman, well, then that's okay. I like the solitude of singleness. I really do. I get a lot more done, and there's no blah, blah, blah. If I want to go swimming, I go swimming. If I'm with a woman that doesn't swim and she doesn't want to swim, well, then I got to go swimming while she does what? Exactly. This is a partnership thing. I want to go swimming, you go swimming. When I go shopping, you go shopping with me. When you go shopping, I'll go shopping with you. When we do the dishes, I'll do the dishes with you. When we cook, we'll cook together. That's my idea of a nice relationship. My idea of a nice relationship is not watching somebody cook 4 meals a day for me and at my beck and call. I would not subject a woman to that. So the woman has to be diversified. When I go out to work, I go with her. I don't have a slave operating a kitchen sink and a stove, making 3 meals a day and keeping the house clean. That doesn't even interest me, that stuff. We cook together, we clean together. I see some of these bloggers on here, they don't cook. Oh, I can cook, but she wants to do it for me. Well, if she wants to do it for you, that's fine. But me, I want a woman that will help me when I go out in the field. And then I want a woman that will go shopping with me, and we'll decide which groceries we're going to buy, and then we come home and cook them together. If there's fish to be cleaned, I'll clean the fish. She can prepare the vegetables and so on and so forth. I'm not looking for a slave to work in my house. So by putting those prerequisites, it saves me a great deal of time. Very rarely do I. If you don't live on the island of Bohol and you can't move to Bohol, Well, then I don't want to talk to you. Why would I want to disrupt my life here in Bohol to move to someplace? There was one from Batangas. I don't even know where that is. That sent a message a few days ago. I live in Batangas, but I can't move from where I am. And I don't even remember why she couldn't move. Well, why did you send me a message? Well, because she read part of my profile. So I don't, I'm not on the dating site per se. I'm on a free dating site, and I don't even bother with that anymore. It's easy enough to meet women in real life that don't swim. I can go to the electronics store. I bought this big screen. There's 3 women, 3 that will date me there, that want to date me there. None of the 3 swim, and they all have multiple children. Oh yeah, that's what I want. I want to build a hotel and then find a woman with 2 or 3 children, and then take care of them and their 2 or 3 children and their family, and then build a hotel on top of all of that. That's my goal, to just absorb every moment of my waking life. No, that's not my goal. I'm being facetious. I want a woman that's free to do what I choose to do in life. And if she wants to be part of that life, then she can be part of my life. But to have a woman that has 2 or 3 children that are between, infant age and 4 or 5 years old, now I have to devote my life to somebody else's children? Call me selfish, but I don't want that. And I make it clear as day in my profile that that's not what I'm looking for. And yet, people will send me, I wish to meet you. Okay. But then you look at their profile and they tell you they show you the 2 children. Well, didn't you read my profile? No, they don't read profiles here. They see dating and they see Bohol and they see, yeah, I want to meet you. So typically what I will say, and I know this is a little bit raw, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I am going to run dating site with Big E and Sabu from the Church of Christians Plus. If the woman has enough money to pay for a trip to Bohol, when she gets here, whether I like her or not, I'll pay for the expenses. However, the last date, well, not the last date, but one of the dates I went on was out in Hagna, Jagna, Hagna, Bohol. And that woman would come to meet me. So I said, okay. So she said, but I don't have any pesos to get there. So it's let's just say it's 40 miles away from here. It's actually 50. So I said, well, it's just a bus, and a jeepney. I don't have any pesos, she said. So I said, okay, so how many pesos do you need? She said 1,000 pesos. Now, I happen to know the trip to Hagna will cost 95 pesos. So I said to the lady, well, why do you need 1,000? The jeepney's 25, and the bus is 65 pesos. That's 90 pesos. Why do you need it? Well, don't you want me to have breakfast? And I also have a tricycle ride. Okay. To the jeepney. Doesn't make any sense, but okay, so a tricycle ride is 20 pesos, so that's 110 pesos. But now, so you need 890 pesos for breakfast. Well, I went out there. This is the kind of scam that they run on the dating site. So I went there and I paid 25 pesos for the jeepney, and I took an air-conditioned van, and that was 100 pesos. So it cost me 125 pesos to get there. And when I got there, well, she was a half hour late. I was leaving. I'm not going to wait for anybody. I was on my way. I'm standing on the bus stop to go back to Tagbilaran. I had something else I wanted to do that day anyway. And she goes, oh, Michael, I'm over here. I'm looking at her and I'm going, that can't be the woman I met on the dating site. First of all, she was all tattooed up. When I say tattooed up, From 70 feet away, you could see sleeves of tattoos on her arms and on her legs and on her shoulders. I'm just not much into that many tattoos. In fact, one tattoo is typically too many tattoos for me. But so I walked across the street. I said, well, she's here. And, oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. So once I agreed that she could come here, I said, so how many pesos do you need altogether? Because she asked for 1,000. I said, it's the minimum that you can get to my place with. And I gave her directions. And I was on the phone with her. She said 2,000 pesos. I said, well, you said 1,000. She goes, what about my sister? Well, what about your sister? She goes, well, I'm going to need company on the bus. So anyway, I went there. And we went to her house. When I got to across the street, the sleeved woman, the tattooed lady, I call her. When I got to the bus stop, well, she was standing where the air-conditioned van dropped me off, exactly within 1 meter. And when I said, okay, so I put my hand up to get a tricycle, and she said, what are you doing? I said, well, we need a tricycle to get to your house. She goes, no, I live right here, like right there, 2 meters away. So she lied to me about that. So these dating sites are not all that you might think they are. So let's get back to the comments. Warren is here in the house. Warren, thank you for stopping by. And I really wanted to get with you before the show because I was going to do a completely different show. And I can't do that show without your permission. Warren is coming out of the hospital. I explained cancer cell count that was well over 100. When Warren went into the hospital, it went down into 90, then it went down to 74, and then last week it was down to 66. So Warren is doing well, and then Warren is preparing to go home and enjoy himself in the comfort of his own house. And then, if all goes well, Warren will be coming to Bohol to pick out the fixtures for the bathroom and the kitchen cabinets for the Warren H. Pavilion, which is the second floor of the hotel. Hopefully by that time, gotta tell you, there's a lot of stuff going on in America that's further screwing up my plans. One of them is the carpenter that is doing the work on my house to bring it back to the it's a two-family house theoretically, but we put in a jacuzzi bathtub upstairs and a full kitchen. That was not really in the plan, so we did that. This is going back to the year 2001. So that had to come out. Then there has to be an equipment room with the hot water heater on that floor. I don't know why they require it on that floor, but that's what they do. So the equipment room that we're going to use is right now a spare bedroom. And in order to make it an equipment room, it needs a fire door, and it needs to have, tile floor. So that means we have to put down a 1/2 inch of Wonderboard. We have to remove the rug and then put down Wonderboard and then tile the floor and then Wonderboard the walls, so to make it a fireproof hot water heater in it. And there's also a picture window that's a little bigger than the window that they put in the plans that has to be removed. So the carpenter that's in charge of that work, we'll call him Joe. Joe's dad died back in November, I think it was. So he was unable to finish the job. He's the only person that we allow in the house to do contracting. He's retired, but he's a very good and honest man. So he always has had the keys to the house and to get in and out of any part of the house in case there's an emergency. So Joe is going to be coming back next month. So with the lockdown, he hasn't been able to do any work because dad died. So that looks like it's coming to fruition. And then when the house is sold, we'll move on to the plans to build the hotel. And Warren will, of course, be bringing in his funds for the second floor, which are going to the entire second floor will be Warren H, the Warren H Pavilion. And then on top, we still have plans for a heliport for a small, 2-person helicopter, and also storage for the Signet 3, which we're going to be able to bring up to the roof with a winch with the jet skis, just for safekeeping, because I don't want to leave that stuff in the ocean. And until I could hire a guard to do that, but there's no reason to do that. I'd rather have the aircraft and the jet skis up on the roof, where in case I want to do maintenance on them, I'll have the ability to do maintenance. And then, of course, there's the Church of Christians Plus. Now, Big E, I made a mistake. Okay, so I didn't make I made a mistake thinking I made a mistake. Big E says he only has 263 working directly under him in that, being in charge of Asia for the corporation that he runs. However, 1,400 that I gave that number is an indirect number that work underneath his representatives in Asia. So he has 263 direct employees and 1,400 subdirect employees. So basically he has 1,400 employees. So I doubt that any of the representative from any of the countries would say, no, I don't want to do that, Big E. I don't think so. How to Hawaii saying hello to Erica Rain. Big E and Sabu, the legend Jack Thompson. Now, the legend Jack Thompson, he has been known to go to other people's channel and speak the truth. Shout it out. Shouts out the truth to people, and they can't handle it, so they block him. So basically what Jack does is when he's on my channel, he jumps over the fence and he goes and pisses on somebody else's channel and then comes back. I just pissed all over that guy's channel. And he has several channels that he goes to. He's when you train a dog not to pee in the house, they got to go somewhere. So he goes to other people's channel and he does a theoretical yellow storm on their channel. And he has been known to become quite the troll. So Big E, we need John Escape, and John Escape is coming. I saw comments from John Escape. Big E says, we are very happy that you are doing well, Warren H. Now, Warren H., for those of you who watch this live stream, is the most liked blogger anywhere in the Philippines community, even though he doesn't live in the Philippines. He's probably the most liked blogger on the internet. There's only one person on the internet that doesn't like Warren H. And he's going to regret that. One day he will regret the things that he said about Warren H. I assure you that those things will be registered properly in a proper place. Well, look, I could even say they have been registered properly already. But one day, the person who keeps making fun of Warren and his cancer, one day they will regret that. I will assure you of that. There's no doubt about it. The people that review these videos they shake their head in disgust, not believing that anybody could be so rude, so crude, and absolutely lacking of empathy and compassion. There is nobody that watches these videos that doesn't say, after they listen to the videos, there is nobody that doesn't say, what is wrong with this man making these videos about, well, even if some of the things were true, the normal, rational way of thinking and moving through life would not to make fun of a man with cancer and or losing a testicle or both testicles. No one in their right mind would make fun of a man that loses parts of his body with cancer. For instance, Warren H. had the tip of one lung removed because it was cancerous. And for months we heard about, the lion, and oh my God, there are so many people that don't like that blogger. If there were people here that wanted to make a list, and say a dozen people decided to make a list and everybody was honest that day, how many people don't like that blogger? How many people are disgusted with the mental attributes or lack of attributes of that blogger? If it was a Twilight Zone thing and the negative energy moved through the computer, that person would just stop blogging. They would realize that they made a mistake. But that person, there's something, in my opinion, that person doesn't understand about the human psyche. People can just take so much of that nonsense, the drama, and then they just find it to be disgusting. And that's where that person is at amongst the psychological purview, let's say, of the general consensus, is there is something deeply wrong with that person's ability for empathy and compassion. And just carry on, dude. Carry on. Because when Warren comes here, Warren will be making a statement. And, he's also part of the program. I'm not sure whether you know that or not, but you are making fun of part of the program. And he's my friend on top of that. So you are an amazing person. Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, is here. Good to see you on YouTube. And Forthright Warning. Oh, this is the fedora of fedoras. This is the fedora I perform my legitimate scams best with. But talking about legitimate scams, John Escape is here. And I abused John Escape yesterday. I have to admit that. He paid me to abuse him. I abused him to some small degree because I still didn't get those packages that you said you were going to send with the generators and the water distiller and the case of peanut butter and the case of jelly and jams and stuff like that. I didn't get that yet. I don't really want to abuse you till I get that stuff, and then after I get that stuff, I'll abuse you. If you ask me again, I will abuse you properly. So another thing I wanted to talk about is pineapple. The people in America don't understand one of the benefits of living in the Philippines is fresh fruit. I gotta tell you, in America, a pineapple not much bigger than this, around Christmas time, is $10 US. A little bit bigger than this, maybe 1 kilo, is $10 a kilo. It's green, it's hard as a rock, it takes 2 weeks for it to become edible, and even when it does become edible, it's not sweet. In the Philippines, we have fresh pineapple at 40 pesos per kilo. So this pineapple was 3.2 kilos total. So it was about that big. It was the biggest pineapple they had, and it was ready to eat. I bought this 2 days ago when I went into the city. So what this would cost in America, well, first of all, you couldn't get anything that big in America, but at Christmas time in America, I remember paying $10 for less than a kilo of pineapple. That's one of the benefits, fresh fruit and vegetables. All right, let's move through the comments, and then I'll get to Mr. Obama had a terrible accident. The operation that Mr. Obama had to go through, very disheartening. I will tell you about that. Big E and Sabu. Wow, 3 minutes ago I said we need John Escape and Scott, and bam, you are here. Big E has that ability to sense when people are coming or should be involved. So, John Escape, welcome to the machine. He's here. Saab G Travels is here. Good morning, Mr. Fazio. How's the beach? Didn't get to the beach this morning. I'm doing an early show, but and actually, I'm planning on going to the beach this afternoon. Because today's Sunday. I think today's Sunday. Let's see, Sunday. Today's Sunday, and I could go into the computer store today. I think it's open that I'm going to buy the computer from, but I'm not sure if the store in Manila is open. So I should talk about that while I'm talking about the computer. So aside from the programs I mentioned in the beginning of the show, here's the problem I'm running into buying the computer. Okay, so the Asus, now this is the Asus Pro Duo, but it's 1 terabyte of SSD drive, hard drive, but it's 32 gigs of RAM with a 4000 resolution screen and a certain graphics program. Okay, so I need the 32 gigs of RAM to run the additional, and also the Dragon, naturally speaking, suck up a huge amount of power from the computer. All right, so they don't have the computer in Tagbilaran, and they don't have it in their store in Cebu, but they have it in Manila. However, there's only 5 in Manila that this dealer deals with. So I said, I will come in yesterday, I'll come in and you can use my bank card and take half. Well, by the way, if you want to buy a computer in the Philippines, this store does not accept an American credit card. That can be go figure. And if they did, like I used the American credit card to buy building materials, that's not a problem. However, not only do you not get a 5% discount, they charge you 3% more banks. So there's no discount. The only advantage is that you don't have to go to the ATM and withdraw $250 a day, which is the maximum they let you withdraw. $500. You can withdraw 10,000 pesos twice. Yeah, you can withdraw $400, and then after that, you can withdraw $100. 10,000 pesos is the maximum you could pull out of this ATM machine. So you have to pay $5 to take the money out of the bank for 10,000 pesos, and $5 for another 10,000 pesos, and $5 for 5,000 pesos. So I will just typically take the money out of the bank and then walk into the bank because it's the same ATM machine. Now they got a new 14 pesos to use the ATM machine in front of their bank. As they don't make enough money from the $5 transfer fees, they're charging an additional 14 pesos to use their credit card, to use their ATM machine. I just saw that at the bottom. I don't have one with me. I just saw that at the bottom of the receipt saying there's ATM withdrawal fee 14 pesos. They just can't figure out enough ways to slip it to everybody. A Philippine person in the Philippines that's making 40 pesos an hour, and that you have to pay 14 pesos to make a withdrawal. So say you make 3 withdrawals in a month. You worked 1 hour just so you could push a button. That's not fair. Jack Thompson says, just revived my license for the Space Force. Trump is screwing everybody too. Apparently, I will be in charge of checking the pressure on all returning space vehicles. See, Jack Thompson because he has an engineering degree and a contractor's license, Trump wants those people with those qualifications to be involved in the Space Force. That's the future. But basically what they really want from Jack Thompson is more money for more licensing. That may or may not ever occur. That's an amazing thing, how they just keep adding and adding and adding. they'll add 5% to this food price and 10% to that food price and 10% surcharge on alcohol and cigarettes, and then they'll increase the amount of money that you can make per year by 1%. They just can't figure out enough ways to screw you. Mr. Michael Fazio says, Sabji Travel, the Anda Boracay is nice to swim and walk the sand. It's the Anda de Boracay. That's correct, Sab. The Anda de Boracay. In the back of the Anda de Boracay, in Anda, and I spent 5 days there, they have a brown sand beach. But the time of the year that I went there, the waves were horrendous. I mean, you could go swimming, but there was no visibility. The beach sand was brown, and it was clean and soft on your feet. It's very nice. We're in back of the End of the Boracay. But if you walk, let's see, what would that be? That would be, if you walk westward from the End of the Boracay, west. If you walk west from the End of the Boracay about 2,000 feet, that's a white sand beach. And that's where you'll see myself teaching Mr. Obama how to swim. But right now, Mr. Obama can't swim because he had a terrible bicycle accident yesterday, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But, well, you know what? Let me get through the comments, and we'll talk about Mr. Obama's accident, because a terrible thing happened to Mr. Obama. So, actually, very, very bad thing. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's rainbows all over my screen. I see rainbows, flashing colors on my screen. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. The colors, it looks like a freaking rainbow. I'll have to turn this camera around. Oh my goodness. Timothy Starr hits me hard again. Timothy Starr comes in. Yay, Sab. Timothy Starr, yay. Erica Rain. I don't know who this Timothy Starr guy is, but thank you very much. We're going to get to you in a minute. Even the websites don't work. Filipina Cupid won't let me reset my password. I guess I won't ever find her. No, the websites are. You can spend 1,000 hours talking to the girls on these dating sites and come up with nothing at the end of the day. And I mean nothing. Based on what I consider my time work per hour, and I spend 3,000 hours scouring the internet looking for a woman or a couple of women to meet when I got here. The woman that I spent 1 year talking to, I devoted 1 year of time talking to, what the heck was her name? Mila, M-I-L-A, Mila. I spent 1 year talking to her 2 or 3 times a week. She never asked me for money. And I told her, I'm coming to Cebu to meet you. And when I got to Cebu, not only didn't she show up at the airport, she didn't tell me she wasn't coming. They lost my luggage. I got stuck in Cebu. And Mila, when I finally did meet her, I arrived January 10th of 2014. When I finally met her the day before Valentine's Day, she was Mila was a very nice girl, but a nut job. She didn't show up at the airport. She didn't send me a message that she wasn't going to be at the airport, but that was the plan, for her to be at the airport. And I said to her, let me send you $50 US so that you'll have transportation money to the airport. Even though she lived in Lapu-Lapu, and that's where the airport was, then if you want to buy a nice dress and a pair of shoes, I'll meet you. And she said, okay. And she took that money. Now, she had a job when I first met her, but she lost, well, her 6-month contract ended. So she wasn't working during the time I was going to arrive. So when I sent her the $50, which wasn't just, 2,500 pesos, was, she took that money and went to Dumaguete to our cousin's wedding, but she never told me she wasn't going to show up at the airport. Then like 4 weeks later, I got a message from her. Hi, Michael, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. I'm living here at the Golden Prince Hotel. And she wanted to meet. Finally, we met. And we went to a church. The church in Fuente Circle. Some old church. Nice church. But, I mean, would I go back to that church? No. But we went there, and when I took out my camera, she goes, no, I don't want to be in a video, and I don't even have a picture of Mila's face. And I spent like 4 days with her. Like, she'd come in the morning, have breakfast, and then leave. And we'd go someplace. She'd show me around, but after 4 days of that nonsense, it was, she wouldn't talk. She wouldn't let me put her in a video. She would let me take a picture of the back of her head in a video in the church. And I respected that, but she was very quiet, and probably she wasn't a scammer, just too quiet for me. And plus the fact that she didn't show up at the airport, she cost me 100,000 pesos for hotel expenses and cab fare. They lost my luggage. I probably would have came to Bohol right from the get-go, and I ended up staying at the Golden Prince for 2 months to get to see Cebu. But after seeing Cebu and what was in Cebu, in the general area of Cebu City, I will go back there to do shopping. Other than that, there's nothing that I'm interested in Cebu. I went to several places on the northern end of Cebu. I forgot the name of the hotel. There's no beach. They're all rock beaches. There's no white sand beaches that I ever found. And the only girls I ever met in Cebu would typically ask you for 500,000 pesos to invest in a house that they were building. The most ridiculous scams that I ever heard of in my life. Anyway, and that's 10,000 US. So you meet them online, and typically the one girl I met, and I forgot the name of the hotel I met her at. We had breakfast, we had dinner. While we were having dinner, 7 minutes later, she asked me for 600,000 pesos, 15,000 US dollars. And I was sitting there, I only knew her about 7 minutes. And she goes, by the way, can I have 600,000 pesos? So I turn around and look like that, and I'm going, well, who are you talking to? She goes, I'm talking to you. I'm going, no, that's 15,000 pesos. That's 15,000 US dollars. She goes, yes, can I have that? Probably not. But I didn't get upset. I thought she was joking, but it turned out she was serious. So that was a very short. I never found out anything in Cebu that I really wanted to go back to see again. So Timothy Starr is here, baby. Good luck to you, Darren's travels. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Darren's mom, who's sick with the virus. And we have Timothy Starr. I don't know who this man Timothy Starr is. I put him in the title today because my internet yesterday was terrible. I came back on 3 times. I worked the show. 3 times I came back on. And finally, at about 12 o'clock my time, the internet just went off for 2 hours. I didn't even have internet. So Timothy Starr says, I like this blue color. Now, Timothy Starr is being a facetious human being. Now, what he's doing is he's mocking another blogger who typically gets $2 and or blue colors. And that's all the other blogger gets. So I don't really appreciate the mocking of another man's super chat or lack of super chat. I want you to know you're a very bad man, Timothy Starr. A bad man you are. So for that, I will sing, thank you, Timothy Starr. You made my super chat go far. Timothy Starr, you're a mocker of other channels, not like the hapsters who walk to the water and go on the beach and climb down the rocks. Timothy Starr, you're a mocker of other people's channels, and that's why no one buys you socks. Timothy Starr, you rock, you rock, you rock. Timothy Starr's a rocking star. And thank you very much, Timothy Starr. I was hoping that you'd come back today to see. I didn't forget about your $10 super chat yesterday. Yellow, baby. Yellow is the color. Yellow was a color of all days. Yellow, baby. Yellow! Yellow! Timothy Starr hit me with a $10 super chat yesterday. Yellow! Boy, I see my screen flashing. You know what I see when I put those glasses on? I saw the screen flash like that. Google, the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, what they do is when this algorithm sees something they're not familiar with, they take a picture of it. That gotta be, because as soon as I put those glasses on, the screen went like that, like a flash. So, what we should do is, you know, and I know that Google and the NSA and the CIA and Interpol, they're our friends, right? And you know what friends are for. I've explained it to you before, that a good friend will go out and get 2 Hummers and come back and give you one. So that's how you test your friendship. If a woman says that she's a really good friend, she's your friend, huh? Yeah, it's just a way to work it into the conversation. And working things into the conversation is what we're going to do right now with Mr. Obama. So let's talk about, where's my bicycle helmet? Wait, Mr. Obama had a terrible bicycle accident yesterday. Give me 8 seconds, I'll be back, and I'm going to get Mr. Obama's bicycle helmet, and he will explain to you what happened to him on the bicycle. Yeah, he had a terrible accident yesterday, Mr. Obama did. He had a terrible accident. So 1001, I'll be back in 7 seconds. 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007. So, okay, so first of all, I have my mask. This is a different one. I have another one over here. I want to tell you about these paper masks and that people are wearing. It's making them more susceptible to more bacteria and germs than if they didn't have one on. Because what's happening is, if you'll notice, this one is white and this one is gray. So if I turn this around, you're going to see a white color and you're going to see a gray color. This one, I wore 3 days. And this is how much dust accumulated in the mask. However, inside here, you're breathing out bacteria from your lungs, but then it doesn't go anywhere, and it becomes infested with its own bacteria, and it becomes something else altogether, which is more harmful to breathe in your bacteria all day that's in the mask, or the next day or the day after that. If people aren't washing their mask, it's more harmful than the virus itself to be breathing in and out of a mask like this, and then wear it for several days. So you got to wash these things, but the bacteria that you're breathing out from your lungs, the human body is just a series of different viruses and bacteria. However, when it goes into a mask like this in the sun, it mutates and forms fungi and all kinds of other harmful bacteria that's not normal to the human genome. So these masks are probably killing more people than they're helping prevent the disease from, in my opinion. And that's always been my opinion. Just like all you idiots out there, and I will call you idiots. There's one particular idiot that made mention 100 times, an idiot. I'm saying, now there are multiple idiots out there, but there's one idiot out there that said, don't forget to wash your hands. Don't forget, I use bacteriological soap. I use alcohol. We can't even find alcohol here. And I have always said, I don't wash my hands, first of all, number one. Number two, here's what I do. When my face is sweaty, I don't wash my face with bacteriological soap. Here's what I do when my face is sweaty. Let me show you what a man does, as opposed to you sissies out there that go and wash. Here, this is what a man does, like this. I'm rubbing the sweat off my brow onto my lips and my face. Because washing your face washes the bacteria off your face, and the face, especially around the eyebrows, it has bacteria that's helpful to the human body. So all you people that go around washing your freaking hands all day, you're wiping off the bacteria that keeps you alive. So you idiots out there telling me to use hand soap or telling people to use the alcohol. The alcohol is destroying the body's immune system. So you fools out there for months have been saying, wash your hands, what, you wash your, these people are so stupid. They're so stupid, it's unbelievable. Here, I go into the market, and I show them my ID, and then they take a temperature sensor thing, right? So, and then the guy sprays, and then what? Then you go into a supermarket and grab a shopping cart that 10,000 other people had their hands on in the last week. Is that free of bacteria? No. Then you reach into your pocket and take money out of your pocket with bacteria that 10,000 people have touched. Is that bacteria free? No. Or you go to the gas station and you touch the gas pump. Some guy just blew his nose in his hand because he didn't have a handkerchief. Is that bacteria free? No. But if they put one spray of alcohol on your hand, that fixes the problem? No. All that's doing is selling alcohol. All these masks are doing is making the mask manufacturers rich. They're doing nothing for you. They're doing nothing for you at all, in my opinion. So let's talk about Super Chat, because I see this fella, Timothy Starr, he just doesn't stop. So let's go over. He got a rainbow, a blue there. Then if you come down, John Escape hits me with a blue. $1 worth of scams. He wants $1 worth of scamming. I'll give that to him. Timothy Starr hits me again. Timothy Starr hits me again with another two, and another two, and another $2. These guys with this, they are really, they love being scammed. So let's talk about It's a Rainbow. Flashing colors on my screen. I see blues, I see greens, and I can scream, it's a rainbow. All right, so Timothy Starr, we love you by far. Up. We lost the damn stream. Nope, did we? Did I or didn't I? Am I still live? Am I still live? Oh my God. Let's see. Well, only one way to find out. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. It took me about, well, oh yeah, we're still live, baby. But I did lose the ability to see the chat on this screen. So, oh no, here it is. Okay, we're good. I thought we lost it. So Timothy Starr I made Timothy Starr makes my super chat go far. And we thank you, Salamat. So I don't know who this guy Timothy Starr is, man or woman, but he has a fake thumbnail. And in the thumbnail, he's got a picture of a dog. And yesterday's $10 super chat was, don't kick the dog either, if I remember correctly. So what we're talking about here is kicking a dog when it's down. So we could relate this to the Warren Hunt, the entity known as Warren Hunt. But we're not going to talk about Warren Hunt until I get permission from Warren Hunt to say the things I want to say on behalf of Warren Hunt. If he agrees that I can say these things on YouTube, I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video and yell out the word disclaimer, because I am going to abuse. I wish for permission to talk about Warren Hunt's condition, and then there will be verbal abuse, but not directed at Warren Hunt. I just want Warren Hunt's permission to mention his name in my live stream, and then I'm going to abuse somebody that's abusing Warren Hunt, and I'm going to abuse him proper. Okay, the man has no empathy, has no compassion, he has no intelligentsia whatsoever, none. I think the IQ at best is 52. I don't think it's higher than that. I see the people on his channel as being ignorant, liars, scammers, and frauds. Even they don't know how to spell. It's almost as if the people that go to that channel that I'm going to talk about are just as stupid as the man who runs the channel itself. So it's even a possibility and a thought process and a belief that the person who runs the channel has multiple accounts. But first, I need Warren H's permission to say the things about Warren Hunt that I'm going to say. And then we're going to get involved with some things that some people aren't going to like. And that's the reason I mention that, is because Timothy Starr has a picture of a dog in his thumbnail. And what's happening is he sent a $10 super chat saying, don't kick the dog either, which I take as he doesn't kick his dog either. Now, is it fair to kick a dog? Well, yeah, if the dog, let's say two dogs are fighting, and one dog jumps over a fence to get into your yard and is ripping your dog apart. Is it fair to kick the dog that jumped into your yard over the fence to get him off or her off of your dog? I would say that's fair. Warren says he doesn't have his mic working. He's going to rebuild it as soon as he gets home. But I mentioned that maybe you could put Skype on your phone, Warren, but that's okay. It's only just a few more days and you'll be home free. Thank you for remembering, Warren. So, would it be fair to kick a dog if the dog was in your yard chewing up your dog? That would be fair. I think that would be reasonable. Enough to get the dog free off of your dog. That happened once with my dog, the neighbor's dog. I wasn't there, but the neighbor's dog, my dog was old at the time. He was already 15 years old. The neighbor's dog was like a 3-year-old shepherd, ripped my dog apart. It would be fair to kick a dog. But would it be fair to kick a small dog that you owned? because the dog was being, I don't know, rambunctious or barking or something like that. That I don't think would be reasonable. And I'm not saying that someone kicked their dog per se, but they did say that their foot accidentally kicked their dog in the face. And I don't know if I believe that. I don't necessarily believe anything that anybody says on YouTube. So kicking a dog when it's down is not really where I wanted to go. I was going to use that as a metaphor about Warren H. and lack of empathy. So when I get Warren H.'s permission, I'm going to do a specific show specifically designed for people who lack empathy and compassion. And then I'm going to rip the fabric of the universe open with that show. I'm going to plan this show for a couple of days in advance, and I'm going to do some satire, and I'm going to do some comedy, and I'm going to do some reality as well. But first I need Warren's permission. So John Escape is asking for of abuse. So okay, we can do that. So here's what we want to do. John Escape. What we want to do is we want to add to the, I need a new computer program, John. So one of the scams I'm running is for the money for the Dragon Naturally Speaking program. That's $320. Now, if you could send that to me as a one-time donation in my Patreon, I would appreciate that. Or, if you like, in the ballot buying boxes, just put a check in an envelope in the ballot buying boxes with the peanut butter and the jelly in there, and the water distiller and the generator, the two Honda generators, and the snorkels. Put it in one of the boxes. Maybe put it in with the scuba gear that you send, and put a check for $320. Make it out to Michael Fazio, and I'll be able to deposit that in my bank account here. So that's the only scam I could give you. But if you need abuse, what I want to talk to you about is that Mr. Obama, he heard that you have a donkey. And he heard that you and the donkey go out into the forest to make man love together. That's what Mr. Obama was telling me when he was over there. And that what Mr. Obama wants to do is, first of all, he'd really like to meet you and your donkey, because he wants to make a video of you making man love to your donkey in the woods. So that's one thing. Now, Mr. Obama's married to a woman, or so they say, that has 2 children with this woman, but there's no pictures of her being pregnant while he was in Congress. There's no pictures of the birth of the child. There's no newspaper articles that Mrs. Obama had children. These 2 children just appeared out of nowhere, like a pop-up family. So what Mr. Obama wants to do is he wants to show you things that he has pictures of, so that when you and the donkey are together, you could fantasize about being with the person in the pictures. So it will give you an added oomph, so to speak, another and in your fantasy world about you and the donkey making man love together. So this is just something that I want you to understand that Mr. Obama has planned when he gets to meet you. But right now, we have to go down through the comments. Oh my God. Timothy Starr hits again with a super chat, another super chat. Oh my God. Warren says he can't wait to have a beer when he gets out. Probably one of the few people, him, Scott Del Fuego, the members of on my Patreon page and my YouTube page and my friends here on YouTube, there's a few people I would drink with. Of course, Warren and John, Scott, Jack, they're all people I would feel comfortable having a beer with. More than that, I probably would not drink, but I would have a beer with Big E and Sabu or Saab or Erica Rain, somebody like that. Warren John Escape is saying, to heck with the beer, a couple of shots of liquor. Yeah, John, I'm sure you like a couple of shots of liquor before you and the mule take a walk, yeah, baby? So Timothy Starr hits me up with another deuce and another deuce. Timothy Starr, we love you so far. I don't believe for a moment you are real. I don't believe your thumbnail is real. I don't believe anything that is real except them $2 super chats. You just keep throwing those my way. I'm scamming and I'm abusing and I'm scamming and I'm earning. Earning is a big name. Ernie. If you want a child, and you people listen to what I'm about to say, because this is about as stupid as it gets. If you want a child that's going to be successful in life, you name him Ernest. I have never in my entire life ever met a man named Ernie that isn't successful. I think it's a karmic thing where their name begins with the word earn, E-A-R-N, earning, earnest, earner. I have never met. So if you want to make a child successful, you name them Michael. Now, if you want a sissy as a child, well, you all know the best name to pick for to have a child that's a sissy. You name your son Sue, like Johnny Cash, Sue, boy named Sue. Then he'll be a real man. Oh, that's a wrong name. But anyway, we're talking nonsense here, but Timothy Starr, thank you. Salamat. Thank you, Timothy Starr. You made my super chat go very far. Timothy Starr put in a lot of pesos, and we thank Timothy Starr for the shkarol, for the iron, for the broccoli, for the cash, for the Pringles. Salamat, Timothy Starr. Now, John Escape has got I don't know what that is. He's got a sticker over there. Me. He's talking about the guy who has no empathy, no compassion. Me. I'm the best. Well, we already straightened that out yesterday when I put out the $5,000 challenge to the guy with the big mouth that keeps calling me fat and out of shape. I think we have it established that he's not going to take my $5,000 challenge. I think we have it established that he's just running his mouth and writing checks with his mouth that his body can't cash. And even though he says he does power walks on the beach, but he's afraid to go to the beach without companionship, afraid to go to the beach in the Philippines. I walk everywhere at night by myself. I walk in a market in the mid 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning when there's nothing with Filipinos in there with setting their stands up. There's no police, there's no crime, there's nobody in there to protect anybody from anybody else, and everybody walks around and nobody looks over their shoulder. But to be afraid to walk on the beach in the middle of the day in the Philippines in a private, well, not so private community, to be afraid to walk around in the Philippines, what the hell are you doing here? If you're afraid to walk out of the house, to leave the gate, what the hell are you doing in the Philippines if you're afraid to leave your little compound area there? What the hell are you doing in the Philippines if you're afraid to walk out of the house alone? Why? I don't understand that. I mean, if the wife is making breakfast, lunch, and dinner, well, she has chores to do. If you're doing blogging, if that's what you think that it is that you're doing, if you're doing that and the wife is cooking and cleaning, she doesn't really have time to get up and go to the beach with you. Why don't you just take a walk at the beach? Why are you... there's so many people you call a coward. This guy's a coward, that guy's a coward. Who's the real coward here? Who's the real coward on YouTube? Who's the real person that's really afraid to walk to the beach without companionship? What? Are you afraid somebody's going to mug you? That's not going to happen. Are you afraid that you're going to fall down of a heart attack or a stroke? That's probably not going to happen. Are you afraid that somebody's going to make fun of you because of the color of your skin, being a foreigner? That's probably not going to happen either. What are you afraid of? That would be the question. So John Escape says, me, but me, 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 me. He has shit to say about everybody else on YouTube, but he doesn't want to admit that he's a coward and he's afraid to walk to the beach by himself. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. I'm afraid to walk to the beach. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. I'm afraid to walk to the beach. Me, 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 me. Disclaimer. Me, 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 me. I'm the best blogger. I'm afraid to walk to me. Me. Disclaimer. Me. Disclaimer. Me. Disclaimer. Me. Disclaimer. Me. Disclaimer. Imagine being afraid to walk to the beach in the Philippines, on an island in the Philippines. Imagine that? I can't imagine that. I'm sorry. I walk down the beach at night. I take nice long strolls on the beach. There's people in the weeds. There's people in the trees. There's people partying. They're drinking beers because of the lockdown. There's nobody out there at night. Everybody just walk by them and you say, Mayanga Bi'i. They say, Mayanga Bi'i. And you walk down the beach. There's nothing to be afraid of. Me. I'm afraid. Me. I'm afraid. Me. I'm afraid. Me. There's nothing to be afraid of, dude. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. Nobody is going to bother you in the daytime on a beach, on your island, where you profess to know everybody. And yet, when you walk down the street, no one says hello to you. Me. We have, Warren says, we have real friends for years, Michael, and I count my blessings and for your support every day. I also count, Warren says, I also count John Escape and all others here as true friends. So, see, this is, on my channel, I connect a lot of people with one another, either through emails, and if possibly Warren wants to talk to somebody on Skype, when his Skype is working, we connect them. So, Erica Rain is still here. Thank you, Erica Rain. I'm sorry, I didn't get through all the comments. Mr. Obama's terrible bicycle accident. So, we'll do that in a moment. Scott LaFuego. Some that we call people. Oh, this is going to be good. I don't want to misspeak here. Some that we call people are actual evil energy. Oh, Scott is... Now you're talking. Disclaimer. So, Scott Del Fuego says, the wordsmith. Oh, and by the way, to the guy out there that calls Scott Del Fuego a glorified janitor, not only do I have $5,000, to wager you that you can't keep up with me on a 10-kilometer hike, I'd add another $1,000 cash for you and Scott Del Fuego to go someplace where you could talk in private and then badmouth Scott Del Fuego like you do internet. I'd pay an extra $1,000 for that to happen. The thing of it is, Scott's coming here, so you can have that extra $1,000 for you to stand mano a mano with Scott Del Fuego and talk shit to Scott Del Fuego the way you do on the internet. I want to see how that works out for you. I bet talking shit to Scott Del Fuego face to face would be about the same, the conversation, without being verbally abused back in a way that you wouldn't even be able to comprehend. Of course, it would only be verbal abuse, but I would wager $1,000 that Scott Del Fuego would make you understand, verbally, make you understand things about yourself that you didn't even know that Scott Del Fuego knows about, and the psychology behind what he believes you to be would probably, maybe, make you understand that what he just said in the comment, some that we call people are, this is a quote now, disclaimer, some that we call people are actual evil energy. So there is a belief that some people have been possessed by a negative or satanic force. And Scott's talking about that force. So Scott says, quote, some people that we are, I got to put the glasses on. Scott Del Fuego says, quote, some that we call people are actual evil energy. What religion would call possessed by the devil? I am not particularly religious, but I have looked pure evil in the eye. It is real and it exists. Okay, so now, for that man, so-called man, to call Scott Del Fuego a glorified janitor, after I have explained on hundreds of occasions that Scott Del Fuego holds a position in life that you couldn't even comprehend, and that there are many, 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 many people that depend on Scott Del Fuego and his decisions so that they can go home at the end of the day. That's how important Scott Del Fuego is. If he makes a bad decision, people could possibly die from his bad decision. And then if he makes a really bad decision, he will lose his job and his pension because he made a really bad decision. Something that most of these people on YouTube have never had to deal with, losing something because you screwed up or were an unaccomplished man, and that you've never achieved anything in life, that you have anything to lose. So Scott Del Fuego also says, I'll read the two comments, I think they go together. So Scott Del Fuego says, this is Scott Del Fuego now, quote, some that we call people are actual evil energy. What religion would call possessed by the devil? I am not particularly religious, but I have looked pure evil in the eye. It is real and it exists. That's one comment. People that torture others, revel in their pain, actually grow stronger from another's terror. Now that terror, and are truly possessed by evil. Words like I have heard about Warren are unadulterated, sick, and evil. And that's why I have to get permission from Warren to do the show that I'm going to do, because I am going to bring this to the next level. Now, if Warren says he doesn't want to discuss certain things, then I won't do the show. But what I'm telling you now is that what Scott said about the words he heard about Warren, and I won't even tell you what these words are. Just save this for my show. My notes are already done for a large portion of this, but I'm going to tell you that not only did I find those words disgusting that you said about Warren, Scott Del Fuego did, Jack Thompson did, Roberto the Brown American Expat did, Holly Dunn did, all people, everybody that heard those words found you to be less than a disgusting human being. If that was possible, that's what you have become. Now, even you don't want to believe it, even you have never said anything wrong on YouTube, even that, I got to tell you, when, let's say, when people of an authoritative nature hear these things, they just shake their fucking head. They don't even know where to go with this. They don't even believe some of the shit you've said about Warren, about myself, about Daisy May. They don't even fucking believe the shit that comes out of your mouth. So what Scott is talking about is people that, on a psychological profile level, they say have no compassion or no empathy, but on a spiritual level have no souls. Basically, they're basically just saying a person that has no soul, no compassion, no empathy for a fucking wonderful person like Warren H. has really no reason or no worth, no self-worth, more no self-worth. Oh, we're running low on the battery. More no self-worth than actual, we're not talking about physical worth, we're talking about self-worth here. Has no self-worth whatsoever. No worth for himself, no worth for the people around him, no worth for anybody because they lack empathy and compassion. So, now one more thing I want to add about this ever went before a tribunal. And Scott Del Fuego gave his testimony before a jury or a tribunal, as opposed to what was said about Warren H. or Warren Hunt. And then Scott added his credentials to the testimony. You would be fucked. You would be completely fucked if your future depended on Scott Del Fuego's testimony. That's how powerful Scott Del Fuego is, the man you call a glorified janitor. If Scott Del Fuego's testimony reaches the level of a tribunal, and his credentials that go along with his person ever go to a legal institution and facts are weighed on the facts, you are fucked. That's how much and how powerful the Scott Del Fuego is in this real life. You can believe what you want, but you fucked with the wrong people on YouTube. You fucked with Warren H., who's probably the nicest guy on YouTube. You fuck with people that are in a position in real life where if it was ever brought down to the testimony of some of these people that you see talking about what you said against Warren H., in real life, you'd be fucked. There's no way around it. You'd just be fucked. Scott Del Fuego's testimony, Warren H.'s testimony, and a dozen other people that are members of my Patreon and or friends on YouTube, if it ever got to the point where they were called upon, and that might happen, to testify, and that might happen, you would be completely fucked. Their credentials would bury you so far, you'd never see the light of day. And that video that you posted last week, making fun of Warren H. and his cancer, was one of the most disgusting, despicable fucking videos ever posted on YouTube. There's no doubt that it's not comedy, it's not parody, it's not satire, it's pure fucking evil in everybody's opinion. That's what you're going to be dealing with in the near future. People's testimonies and or statements that are going to just amaze you what's going to be said and who's going to be saying it. And already have said it. That's what you have to deal with. all that shit you said about Warren H. I mean, that was some of the most despicable shit anybody's ever heard. Nobody has ever heard. All right, let's put it like this. Anybody here ever hear anything so fucking despicable before? I'll just ask that question. Scott Del Fuego, Timothy Starr, Erica Rain. He only speaks a little bit of the language, okay? Let me put the glasses back on. We still have to discuss Mr. Obama's terrible accident. I actually shouldn't talk about Mr. Obama's terrible accident because I really want to incorporate Mr. Obama's accident with another video that I'm doing, but suffice it to say that Mr. Obama, he was riding on the bicycle with me last week. I had a helmet on Mr. Obama. And he fell down and had a terrible accident. Oh my God. Oh God. What the mess that it made was, he was screaming and yelling, and he was praying and screaming and yelling and praying. And Mr. Obama had a bad day last week. Him and I went bicycle riding. I took him for a bike ride. I don't take him swimming anymore because, well, I just don't. He doesn't like, I already gave him his scuba. He doesn't like the water. He just doesn't like the water. Some people don't like the water. So Big E is here, back. He's back. That's what they do when an engineer or contractor test. That's right, baby. They just keep intelligent people are always striving for the next level. And that's where we're going with those new programs, with where I'll be doing, well, I gave up. I did want to get into the nuclear field, but I looked at some of the programs that I'm going to have to study, and nuclear fission, nuclear fusion, thermonuclear reactions, stuff like that. It's really complicated. It's not simple like fluid dynamics. This stuff goes into what Big E had a show on, that in order to make a hydrogen bomb, you have to create fission. And the fission explosion has to be a picosecond, which is 10 to the minus. And I'm going to have to study to become a nuclear scientist. I don't think I have enough time to get certified in nuclear power or the building of nuclear bombs, because eventually that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build at least a hydrogen bomb. I think with the stuff I have right here, I got a pair of these. I got these steel nuts, right? And I could use these steel nuts to compress U-238 or 233 or U-239. I could compress the U-239 together to cause a fissionable reaction. But after that, I don't have a containment vessel. And now there's another way to do it with they call it the gun method, where they shoot the nuclear, they shoot the, but I have some of the stuff out in the shop to create a nuclear weapon, but not everything I need. For instance, I don't have any plutonium, okay? I'm going to need some of that, I think. I'm not real sure, but I definitely need uranium, and there's no way to buy uranium. I went to the ICM mall last week, and they had no uranium. I said to them, do you have any uranium? And the guard said, over there in the pharmacy. It's in the pharmacy. They sell you. They might sell aspirin, but no, I need uranium. Sir, in the pharmacy. What are you talking about? They don't sell uranium in the pharmacy. Maybe he meant in the other place where they sell wall outlets and sockets and stuff like that, the hardware store. And the Ace is the place. Maybe I could get some uranium there. All right, Warren is going to lunch. I'll see you later, buddy. My friend, Warren H. Oh, yeah. Warren H. Yeah, baby. Pretty soon we'll be having lunch together. sooner than he thinks. Let's see. John Escape. Okay, Warren. He's saying goodbye. Erica Rain, host, phone always vibrating. Yeah. Erica Rain, maybe you make the phone vibrate with the dancing that you do. Scott Del Fuego. Professional testing required, training, constant recertifications, then dealing with magotry politicians. It ain't easy being a part-time janitor. So here's what I was talking about, this disgusting, despicable human being, or what some people call subhuman being. That Scott Del Fuego never, his job requirements require constant reevaluation of his abilities, constant recertification of said abilities, and or constant learning of new abilities for his job description. In a real court of law, you would be completely screwed. If Scott Del Fuego comes to the Philippines and gives his testimony, you're screwed. Okay? And you call him a part-time janitor, and you say that these people are nothing. Compared to their credentials, you're nothing. Nothing at all. An amoeba in a world full of oceans and oceans of people. The credentials on the people that want to make statements and have are amazing. So you should just know that. And I don't care if you never make another video. The one that you made about Warren H is probably the only video that will, of all the other videos that people have posted on their channels, that video that one of the bloggers put up, I'm not real sure who it was, one of those bloggers put up a video that you demeaning Warren H to that level. There's no reason for that. Nobody would justify it. I don't think anybody. Just wait till they hear the things that you said about Warren H, and especially considering that Warren H is my friend. You just wait till they hear that. I don't even think, well, we won't get involved with that right now. He doesn't know the other channel, Timothy Starr, but Timothy Starr says, I don't even know the other channel. Jack Thompson, beach whistle. Okay, my beach whistle collection is getting out of hand. So I guess we should give, if a person kicks his dog and causes great injury to his dog, or even accidentally bumps the dog's face with his foot, what they get is 12 Jersey beach whistles. 12 Jersey beach whistles. And Jack Thompson doesn't come from New Jersey, but he knows what a Jersey beach whistle is, because beach whistles are beach whistles are beach whistles. I mean, every major waterline, shoreline, lake, every shoreline of every lake and river in the world has beach whistles. And so what they do is they go out and collect beach whistles for people like the person who made that disgusting video about Warren H. And then they send beach whistles to that person by the dozen. Del Fuego says, the word at Jack Thompson. You are an American icon, sir. An American icon that builds. An accomplished man, goes out and busts his butt, risks his life and limb climbing ladders. A man that knows how to operate tools. A man that is not afraid to get his hands dirty or risk life and limb to get the job accomplished. Not so unlike myself and Warren, Scott, Jack Thompson, John Escape. Not so much unlike what we do for a living. We know how to operate equipment, tools, and run organizations and people, as opposed to an unaccomplished man. an unaccomplished man, something with no accolades whatsoever. A man that doesn't know how to operate tools, in my opinion, is less of a man than a man that operates tools, and I'll tell you why. A man that operates tools builds the buildings that you're sitting in now. A man that knows how to operate heavy equipment organizes the land for the buildings that are going to be built on where you're sitting now. A man that operates tools builds the buildings that make the photography equipment and cameras and or computers that are going to be built inside those buildings. A man who doesn't know anything about tools, has never built anything, well, think about a world like that. There wouldn't even be shelters available for people to get into in case it rained or snowed. So without tools and the people's ability to operate tools and use tools to build things, there would be nothing. I wouldn't be able to be talking to from my computer. I wouldn't have the lumber to build this small shack I live in. I wouldn't have glasses to look at the screen so that I could see what other people are saying. Without tools, none of this would exist. So in my opinion, a man that knows how to use tools is more important to society than somebody with a bachelor's degree in photography. Because without the man that builds the tools, well then, what good, where are you going to get the camera from to make the pictures? I mean, that's just my opinion, that person, disclaimer, that's my opinion. A man that operates tools is more important than, say, a professor of sociology. I mean, in the school to profess sociology, there'd be no building for the man to sit in. There'd be no books to read because no one would have built the machines to make the books to read for the professor of science. It's all bullshit. If you don't know how to operate and or use tools and go out and create something from nothing, then I believe you're less of a man than someone who goes out and builds a business or tries to build a business and fails. At least they tried and failed. Rather than being a failure at pretty much everything that you've ever done. There are some people like that. But nobody, the one thing that you have seen, the most despicable video anybody's ever heard about a cancer patient. Yeah, that, your big fucking success there, huh? Wait till they see that one. Wait till they see that. John Escape says, good line from a great movie. Do you know how to whistle? You put your lips together and blow. I don't know the name of that movie. Yeah, that's true, Scott. Any friend of the Stars and Bars is a friend of mine. Back when I lived in Virginia, it was commonplace to see it. Heritage. Now these weak little weenies just cover and hide their history. That is what's going on. I know what you're talking about. The Virginia was a major factor in the American Revolution, and now they're just a bunch of sissies. I can't believe the crap that Virginia produces when it comes to what so-called people. Timothy Starr, I cried because Erica Rain is leaving her channel. I did see Erica Rain's last goodbye. Say goodbye to Erica Rain. This is the last live stream. I put it on. just like I put on Philippines On Demand, and all I could get out of it was static. My data, I don't know why it's working today. What I did do is less than where my finger is, 12 inches away, I moved the antenna. And then the tablet, it goes directly behind the tablet, 12 inches away. I don't know if that made a difference, or they just increased my data, or something is just better today than it was the other day. But I haven't lost the stream yet today. So Timothy Starr says, he cried, let me get some water. He cried because Erica Rain is leaving her channel. Another thing I heard about some sissy on YouTube, and it's, I gotta tell you, you can believe what you want. I'm gonna give you the facts on this, okay? I'm gonna give you the straight down facts on drinking water, cold or hot water, okay? I'm gonna tell you something, you people out there. You think I'm gonna, you think I'm kidding you? You think I'm gonna make it up? I'm gonna tell you the facts about drinking cold water in the summertime. First of all, it'll do three things to you. Number one, it will lower the temperature inside your body, the core of your body, number one. However, it's dangerous to drink cold water in the summertime, in the heat of the summer. I've not had this problem before, but I've seen other people pass out from drinking cold water or get woozy, okay? So what happens is you are overheated and you grab a bottle of ice water. It puts your body into a state of shock. It could kill you, but it might kill you because you could pass out from it while you're driving a car or running a piece of equipment. I have never drank cold water in the summertime. I might drink it if I'm sitting down relaxed. I have cold water in the refrigerator, but I would never drink it on a hot day. And you idiots out there that tell people, drink cold water, it's good for you. There's nothing like a glass of refreshing cold water on a hot day. It's probably the worst thing you could do to your body, number one. Number two, drinking cold water while eating food with oils in it or fat congeals the fat or oil in your stomach, making it almost impossible to digest. So you can pass out from drinking, and then drinking cold water with your meal. You shouldn't drink anything with your meal, but drinking cold water with your meal will congeal the oils and the fat in your stomach. So the idiots out there telling people to drink cold water with their meal, or I drink cold water with my meal, I don't drink anything, but you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're not doing anything for your health, and you're not doing anything for your body, and you're not doing anything for your digestive system. And all you're doing is putting out more bullshit after more bullshit after more bullshit after more bullshit after more bullshit about things you don't know a damn thing about. You don't know a damn thing about the internal workings of the human body and or human genome, because if you did, you wouldn't tell anybody to drink cold water with their meal. Because all it does is slow down the digestive process inside the body. You should drink properly. The most beneficial thing to do is about a half hour before you have a meal is to have 2 glasses of water or more. And then your meal should be basically, at best, a few sips of water during your meal just to wet your tongue or the insides of your mouth. But drinking ice water whilst eating food, pure stupidity. And the fact that I listen to you babble on about drinking cold water with your meal, and there's nothing worse for you than drinking cold water. The thing I laugh about is the fact that you have no understanding of what the hell you're talking about and babble on about it as if you knew what you were talking about. That's the funny part about listening to certain shows on YouTube. Timothy Starr. Whoa, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So Erica Rain, I did see that show. Thank you. Thank you, Timothy Starr. Thank you. You have made my super chat go far. I don't believe for a damn minute your name is Timothy Starr. And you know that because I wouldn't lie to yar. Yar, that's an old Scottish word, yar. Or is it English? Yar. Yar. Yar be here. Well, no, it's a pirate word. Ah, Raboy! Drew Barker in the Philippines. You know that when I call people up on the phone, they ask me to do that for their wives and children. And their children will sometimes take a video of the Skype screen with me doing the Rabbi Drew Barker thing. That's how much some people like that persona. Thank you, Timothy Starr. Salamat. Scott Escape. Scott Del Fuego. Oh boy. We have trolls here. Pinoy Ahoy is here, baby. Wow, we are way up here. Scott Del Fuego says, a true friend is when I call at 2 a.m. and tell them to bring over a tarp and a shovel. They ask if I need bleach too. Ah, God, you're digging a pool? There's nothing like building pools in the middle of the night. Yeah, they are N95 masks. And I did see your message where the blowhole is not working right. And I only had 2 of these, but I do have, I will not wear those masks again. I have, I'll show you the mask that I have a cleanable filter in. I have this mask here that has a removable cloth filter that I just use bleach and soap on and then dry it off in the sun. And this is what I will use the next time I go to the city. I will not use that N95 mask. And then naturally I rinse it out with bleach and soap and water and then rinse that out and let it dry in the shade. But I will not be using those N95 masks anymore, because if I told you, well, I could wash it, but if I told you what this smelled like, it's not that bad. It's noticeable, the smell coming from this mask. But what I'm smelling is bacteria. So if I put this on again after using it, I think I used it 2 days. If I put this on again, all I'm breathing in is bacteria with mold and mildew on it. I won't do that. I'll clean it and I'll try it again. But sometimes these masks, when you clean them, the porosity of the fabric itself closes in. Certain filters can be cleaned and certain filters can't be. So we'll have to figure that out. Erica Rain says, ha ha, Timothy Starr, is that for me? The super chat. Timothy Starr, I don't know who he is, Erica Rain, but he's not who you think he is. I don't know who he is, but you don't know who he is. We don't know who he is. I wonder who he is. But, you know, as John Escape would say, he knows everything there is to know about horses, John, especially now that he's been involved with a horse or a mule. So John said never. Yo! Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute, people. Yo! Party? come? Okay, maybe 1/2 hour? Or now? Half hour? Okay, now you want? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Salamat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I gotta go. I gotta go. One of the friend's dad died a while ago, and that was the funeral that the people on my Patreon page see the burial site of the Halloween videos. He died around Halloween. Well, today marks 6 months, and there's the priest is coming to do a special mass, and there's going to be a ceremony. They just explained it to me. They knocked on my door. So I told him I'd be there in 10 minutes. The ceremony takes place in a half an hour, but I need to go out and take a bath. I'm going to really go quick through the comments. I apologize, but the ceremony is not going to wait for me. Pinoy Ahoy, thank you. Pinoy Ahoy is a channel that we all need to go to and subscribe if you want to get a shout out from Pinoy Ahoy. I apologize for going through these comments really quick like that. You heard the knock on the door. I didn't know about this ceremony. I went to a party last night. They may have tried to comment or to make me aware of it. Okay, Big E. John escaped. The worst is brain freeze from cold water. Oh, you can die from that. Okay, so I need to go. And I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Thank you for the super chat. Salamat. But the man who died, he was probably the first person I ever spoke with when I moved to where I live right now. His name was, no, I won't tell you his name, but didn't speak a word of English. Not one word. Not one word. This man and I said hello to each other every day for 6 years. Every day for 6 years. He never spoke a word of English. Never. Not one word. I learned a few words in Visaya, but he always had a smile on his face, and he is one of my best friend's dads. So I'm going to say Amping Permi. Gonna go. Definitely gonna go. Gotta go. Thanks for watching. I'll make a video, but it will only be at the higher levels of Patreon that this is going to take place, if they allow a video to be taking place. Bye-bye. God bless. And to that fella, that despicable human being that made the video about Warren H., wait until you see how I use that video. Wait. It's a video, by the way. It's not audio. It's a video. You just wait and see how far that got you in real life. Not going to bring you, might bring you to places you had no imagination. I just want to leave that thought. Despicable videos that anybody has ever viewed or listened to. Amping Permi. Have a nice day.